You know we love to recreate Gordon Ramsay's recipes, and this mozzarella rosemary pizza looked too good not to try. The first step is to combine 2 7-gram packets of active dry yeast with 325 milliliters of warm water plus 1 tablespoon of sugar to feed the yeast. Give that a mix, then allow to sit for a few minutes. You should see lots of bubbles start to form. If you don't, your yeast is dead, and I'd like to extend my deepest condolences. Sift 500 grams or 4 cups of 00 or pizza flour into a large bowl. Add about 1 tablespoon of fine sea salt and gently mix with your hands, making a well in the middle. Pour 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil into that well, followed by the bubbly yeast mixture. Now get your hands in there to mix the ingredients together until a ball of dough forms. At this point, remove the dough from the bowl and knead for about 10 minutes on a lightly floured surface. Place in a lightly floured bowl, cover and allow to rise for about 1 hour or until it has roughly doubled in size. Gently punch down the dough to release the air. Remove the dough from the bowl and divide into 4 roughly even portions. Then on a lightly floured surface, gently press the portion into a circle roughly 25 centimeters or 10 inches in diameter. Transfer the dough to a lightly oiled, oven-safe pan over medium heat. After a few minutes on the heat, you'll notice the dough will start to puff up. At this point, add about 2 tablespoons of tomato passata, also known as tomato puree, then tear on about half a ball of fresh mozzarella cheese. Finally, drizzle on a little more olive oil, then place under the broiler in your oven for about 4 minutes or until the cheese is bubbling and the crust is nice and crispy. Once done, add freshly cracked black pepper and some fresh rosemary leaves, then serve immediately. We'd love to know how we did on this, so please tag Gordon Ramsay so he can let us know. This sunny side up breakfast pizza is sure to brighten your day. Start by lightly greasing a 12-inch pizza pan with a little olive oil. Add 1 9-ounce portion of pizza dough and press it flat into the pan. We have several recipes for pizza dough, or you can just buy store-bought. Top with about a 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese and spread that out evenly. Next, add the same amount of freshly grated cheddar cheese and spread that out evenly as well. You might have noticed that there's no sauce on this pizza, but trust me, you don't need it. Add 4 whole eggs to the top of the pizza, followed by diced green peppers and red peppers, cooked bacon, and red onion. Finally, bake at 450 Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 minutes until the eggs are cooked. If you're able to plan ahead, making Polish pizza dough is well worth the wait. First, we're making a Polish, which is a kind of pre-ferment starter that can be used for breads and doughs to add more depth of flavor and a better texture. Combine 100 grams of 00 flour with a tiny amount of yeast. The amount of yeast you use varies depending on how long you ferment the dough for. Check the comments for more info. Next, pour in an equal amount of room temperature water by weight. Once combined, this will form a very sticky, wet dough. Cover that and let rest at room temperature for between 8 to 16 hours. We rested for 16 hours, and as you can see, lots of little bubbles formed on the surface. Now to make the dough, add your Polish to a large bowl, then pour in 120 milliliters of room temperature water, 5 grams of instant dry yeast, and 8 grams of sea salt. Mix well so the Polish dissolves into the water, then add 250 grams of 00 flour. Use your hands to mix in the flour, then once a rough dough starts to form, gently knead for 10 to 15 minutes on a clean working surface. The dough will become smooth and elastic, and at this point you can portion it into 2 to 4 equal parts depending on the size of pizza you want to make. Form the portions of dough into balls by rolling them around on your work surface in the palm of your hand. Then transfer to a lined and lightly floured sheet tray. Brush each portion with olive oil and cover and let rest at room temperature for 1 hour or until they have doubled in size. This cheesy breakfast pizza is pretty decadent, but you're worth it. Start by frying 3 finely diced sausages in a little oil until they're crispy. Next, drizzle some olive oil into a large sheet tray and spread it out evenly. Roll out 1 batch of your favorite pizza dough into a large rectangle, then firmly press it into all the corners and edges of the tray. Use a fork to poke holes all along the bottom, then drizzle some more olive oil on top. Now you need to pre-bake the crust at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 to 8 minutes. While that's in the oven, prepare your scrambled eggs by seasoning 6 eggs with some salt and pepper. Give those a good mix with a fork, then transfer to a lightly oiled pan over medium heat. Cook, stirring constantly until the eggs are mostly cooked and very creamy. Then, to finish them off, add 2 tablespoons of heavy cream and stir to combine. By now the crust should be out of the oven and slightly cooled so you can add your eggs on top. Spread it out evenly like a sauce, then top with layers of cheddar cheese, mozzarella, and your sausage. Finally, return to the oven for about 5 to 7 minutes until the cheese is nice and melted. Ham, cheese, and tortillas is all you need to make sincronizada. Place your tortilla on a dry pan over medium heat. I've been told by a trusted source that traditionally no butter or oil is used in making this. You can all debate that in the comments. Ideally, the cheese you use will be a semi-hard cheese with a bit of oomph to it, but really use whatever you want. And the ham should be deli ham. Top with another tortilla and then cook on both sides until brown. Another way to do this is to just use 1 tortilla folded in half, which does make it a bit easier to flip. But as I've said before, we're professionals here and we live on the edge. That's your sincronizada done, and it's great just like this, but it's even better topped with a bit of fresh pico de gallo. Lucky for you, we recently posted a pico de gallo recipe that you can check out. Topped with a bit of fresh.
Just like the day that I met you, the day I thought forever, said that you loved me, but that'll last for like this every time. On these days I feel like you and me. Heartbreak anniversary. 'Cause I remember every time. On these days I feel like you and me. Heartbreak anniversary. Do you ever think of